Hi there, and welcome to the 29th of my series called I Eat, I Read, I Watch. This column highlights the solo dinner and my reading and watching accompaniments. Don't just eat alone, dine solo. You're worth it, and it's not hard to do. So what am I eating these days? Well, this is slow cooker chicken and creamed corn. I'm a big fan of the slow cooker. The process of letting things cook while you work is a treat I've afforded myself for most of my adult life, even though it produces quantities that can overwhelm my tiny Chandlerville kitchen. Sometimes that feeling of being swamped by food is worth it, though. When the New York Times cooking page recently sent some slow cooker recipes, it was a sure sign of fall. Out came the slow cooker to dominate my counter for a day. The dish started with 3 cobs of fresh Ontario corn. I cut all the kernels off, set the kernels aside, and, as the recipe surprisingly required, put the bare cobs into the bottom of the slow cooker. Weird, I know. I then added a pound of boneless, skinless chicken thighs, 2 diced celery stalks, a diced red pepper, a diced shallot, and some smashed garlic from my garden, along with lots of salt, pepper, and cayenne. I put a knob of butter on the top and turned the slow cooker on low for 4+ hours. At that point, I pulled the corn cobs out and added the corn kernels, a cup of sour cream, some chopped scallions, and the juice of a lime. I combined it all, pulling the chicken thighs apart with 2 forks. With a bit more cayenne, this was amazing on sourdough toast. I'm really excited about the idea of using some leftovers to make enchiladas. If you want to go to the source recipe, you can find the link on my website. Prep time, about 5 hours. Origin, everything was Canadian except for the lime and the cayenne. Cost, about $20 of chicken. Wow, it's crazy what it costs to buy food these days. And another $5 for vegetables. I'd say about 4 or maybe 5 meals, so not too bad. If you have a favorite way to use the slow cooker, please be sure to post it in the comments on my blog. So what am I reading? Well, I'm reading a book called Enjoy Your Stay at the Shamrock Motel by Andrew Kaufman. I've known Andrew Kaufman. No, not the American funny man from Taxi. Since he introduced me to Culture Club in our Wingham, Ontario high school. We've stayed in each other's orbits for 40 years since, connected by his sister, who remains my good friend. From a distance, I've watched Andrew have, by Canadian standards, a pretty decent career as a writer, starting in 2003. It was exciting when, on a trip to the UK in 2004, I saw his cult hit, All My Friends Are Superheroes, on the staff picks shelf at the Waterstones across from Trafalgar Square. He followed that book up with a series of similarly short, quirky novellas best described as magical realism, I think. When I went to the Coach House book spring launch, it was partly because I knew Kaufman's 7th book, Shamrock Motel, was on the release list. Andrew's reading that night was about a woman having a relationship with a bear, about as far from usual memoir fare as you can get, but quite a bit more accessible than many of the others being read from that night. You see, Andrew is funny, has a hell of a good way of describing things, peppers the narrative with inside jokes for the Southwestern Ontario reader, and finishes the one in this collection with the protagonist playing Culture Club's classic Do You Really Want to Hurt Me on repeat in her car's CD player. Can relate. Interesting book. If you've left your literary comfort zone lately, let's hear about it in the comments on my blog. Finally, what am I watching? Well, I'm watching The Affair. If you watch the Baltimore set series The Wire, you know Dominic West, the brilliant UK actor who starred as McNulty. That was 2 decades ago. Since then, he's shown up in many series, including playing Charles for 2 seasons of The Crown. I only just found The Affair, though, West's series from 2014 to 2019. He stars as Noah Soloway, a struggling novelist married to the daughter of a famous writer. They and their 4 children spend summers with their in-laws in Montauk, a hamlet on the east end of Long Island. Noah strays from the marital bed with a younger woman, a server at the local diner. Their affair has some pretty far-reaching consequences, allowing the show to extend to 5 seasons. I'm about halfway through the series now, ending each day with at least 1 hour-long episode, and sometimes 2. This is a serious commitment, but I'm completely in the show's thrall. I dislike most of the characters, by the way, but I can't wait to see what can possibly happen next. There is certainly no predicting. The acting and the writing are terrific, and those scenes shot on the ocean are stunning. CBC Gem, by the way, for those who want to stream it. I know I've mentioned this before, but Gem has a subscription service to avoid the ads. While typically I resent paying subscription fees, this one I'm okay with. CBC needs whatever support it can get. If you're in the grips of a good drama, I'd love to hear about it. Just add it to the comments on my blog. And thanks for watching.